People often lose confidence amidst the storms of persecution, rejection, and poverty. Where can we find assurance when beset by the storms of life? Fearing they would not survive the windstorm, the disciples turned to Jesus to save them. In the Jewish mind, the sea represents chaos and mystery and therefore offers many opportunities to showcase the awesome power of God. He does what he wants with the raging sea, showing that God is sovereign over all creation. Jesus and the disciples are caught in a terrible windstorm while crossing the Sea of Galilee. The disciples are awed when they see that even the forces of nature must obey the commands of Christ. And that brings us to our key verse for today, which reads, "And he says unto them, Why are you fearful, O you of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm." Matthew chapter 8, verse 26. After doing all they could to keep the boat afloat, the frightened disciples called out to Jesus for help. The fearful men woke the Lord from his peaceful slumber, all shouting at once. One cried, "Master, Master, we perish." Another shouted, "Master, don't you care that we perish?" And a third pleaded, "Lord, save us, we perish." Their language is that of extreme terror. The three exclamations recorded by the three writers describe three possible responses to the troubles that afflict us. Some of us may think that the Lord is unaware of the depth of our torment. Others realize that God knows all, but because God is not acting the way we think he should, we begin to wonder if God even cares. And finally, some simply cry out in desperation, "Lord, if you don't save me, I'll perish." So after rebuking the disciples for their lack of faith in his word, the Lord turns his attention to the source of the men's fear and rebukes it too. Rising from his place of rest, the Lord speaks to the storm. Mark provides us with the very words of the Lord's rebuke. "Peace, be still." As soon as the words leave the Lord's lips, the uproarious winds grow silent and the convulsing sea becomes calm. Since the unpredictable sea is an object of such uncertainty, and therefore fear, in the Jewish mind, a calm sea is seen as a special blessing. The calm here is specifically the calmness of a vast expanse, and also recalls the still small voice Elijah encounters as the power and presence of God. The sudden quiet stillness of the sea and the wind must have disconcerted the men. Nothing moved, not a sound was heard. The astonished men probably stood for several seconds in open-mouthed wonder, and when they spoke, their words expressed their astonishment. They marveled or were struck with admiration and astonishment at the miracle. Jesus had given them new proof of his control over the forces of nature. Even the winds and waves obeyed him at a word. So here's our lesson. Most believers have experienced God working in their lives during past trials and times of anxiety. Yet when we meet with new difficulty, we tend to give in to fear and often try to handle the situation ourselves. Bad experiences may cause us to believe that no one cares about our problems. We seek assurance when facing these battles. While believers are not exempted from experiencing life's storms, we can trust in God's timing, recognizing his sovereign power over our lives and our world. Even though God might not answer at the immediate sign of trouble in our lives, we can find assurance in knowing that God cares about the issues causing us anxiety, and God will respond to our earnest pleas for help. When God does move, just watch how God's power is swift to restore order and calm to our lives. Thank you so much for listening and subscribing to iLights. Heavenly Father, fill our hearts with what we truly desire, for who we truly seek is you.